Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, it's Saturday and normally we try and have a look at a quirky map on a Saturday. Couldn't do that this week. We've got a map which was too good to be ignored. It's a creator we've done a few times in the past and they have got 5 stars for aesthetics on more than one occasion. They really do know. They've developed into a creator that knows how to create a good looking map. We have reviewed them 6 times in the past, episodes 721, 793, 834, 874, 952 and 1131, where they got 10, 11, 11, 13, 13 and 12 stars. So you already know in advance they are a good creator. Slightly different format to the show today, which shall hopefully make you enjoy the map a little bit more than normal, but before any of that, one of these. That's right, clicking that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's map is a Port Cambria by Captain Alex. Good to have you back, Captain Alex. This one lives up to the aesthetics that you'd expect from a Captain Alex map. Let's have a look at that start square. Yeah, we've got a little pre-built area in there. Of course, you can easily demolish that if that's not what you want. But it's just a nice little touch, I think. We've got terrain heights, which allow you a lot of buildable space in the valley. And then resources are, as such, not the strongest for resources, but again, still usable. And what about the fishing? If you have Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing, well, it's not a very exciting fishing map. But again, not everybody's really interested in that. Off to the workshop. What do we need? Well, there's a good question. It's a mass transit map. You will need mass transit for this one. And we do have a one-click collection, including a selection of roads. Stray Cats Territory and Nature Reserve is the base theme. We'll be using the theme mixer too, which is the Port Cambria theme mix. Thank you very much for putting the theme mix together, Captain Alex, for this particular map. We'll also be using the Relight to Lush Lut. Also, recommendation for the 25 tile mod rather than the 81 tile mod, and certain parts of the map have been left a little bit under detailed around the edge of the map to allow for more trees in the middle of the map. Unlimited tree mod is required for this one as well. So yes, a slightly different format to today's show. I'm just seeing more how it works for me than how it works for you, and I think I'm liking this version. So we might be sticking with this in the future. It'll be one where we kind of like skimp over certain issues in the first half of the show. Anything that might be exceptional or troublesome, I'm leaving until the second half of the show, and we'll do some little jump cuts. Well, not more jump cuts, but jumps from location to location in the second half of the show to look at the what I would call the talking points on a map. That doesn't mean that you can't use your eyes and see these little things, but when you see a problem, if I've skipped over it, don't worry, it's probably because we're coming back to talk about it a little bit later on. See if you can spot anything that I don't. There you go. Right, okay, so the theme, one thing you'll notice with the theme, we have the little sprites, the little grass sprites that aren't I don't know, they add an interesting aspect to any map, but they can glitch through some of the assets, and just sort of mention that they are only there because they are allowed in the theme mix. When somebody does a custom theme mix, I don't play about by removing the sprites. It's I do that normally because I just hate them. I loathe them. But aesthetically, they do work on some maps. So again, where they're allowed in the map theme, I allow them in the actual in the map review. Start square. We are at start square already. Start square looks pretty nice. Just a little bit undulated coming down from the highway, so it's not the completely flattest area immediately. But once you get down away from that on ramp as such, we've got a decent size of a completely flat buildable land, and the undulation isn't exactly the worst either. It's not like we're coming off of a mountain. Heading down to this intersection here, should we go straight on? No, I think we'll take the bridge because, as you know, everybody loves a big old bridge, and we've got here is a big old bridge. does have a talking point about it that I think we'll briefly cover here. We won't save this till later. Now we have a passing point in the middle of the bridge for the boats to go under. On the other side of the bridge, we have a rail bridge really low to the water. The question is, do you think we have a shipping route going through there? And if so, will it go careering through the rail? I'll leave you to think about that one. Now, there was something there that I forgot to come back to later for the second half of the show. You'll have noticed, possibly with that last intersection, that we have 3 lanes going down to 1 lane and then increasing to 2 lanes. And that might cause a little bit of a bottleneck. Again, very easy to upgrade once you get to that area. But yes, that's just a little something that I decided I'd come back to have a look at that later, and I forgot. So little things like that, teething errors in terms of trying to evolve the show a little bit more. Just always looking to take the show to the next level. Partly keeps me from getting bored, but also I listen to your feedback. Sometimes I agree with it, very rarely I agree with it, but sometimes I agree with it, and sometimes I'll include little nods from you guys saying, actually, what we really want from the show is this. And yeah, I'll listen. Sometimes. Don't always agree. And some things I leave in, like the factoids. I know the factoids are quirky and they don't really fit with a map review show, but factoids because factoids. I've got this book. I'm determined. I mean, we are now about a third of the way through the factoid book. This is the second of the 2 factoid books from the 80s that I have. So we're about a third of the way through. I reckon in another, I don't know, year or so, I'll be out of 1980s factoids. The rail, by the way, we're using a custom rail here, which is very good looking. In fact, so good looking, we actually have some rendered tunnels that look so sexy. Let me come up here to the rendered tunnel. There you go. It's not the smoothest entry. I feel it should be perfectly flat going in. And again, I forgot to go back and have a look at the exits from one of the highway tunnels, which again feels like it should be a little bit smoother. It's no worse than that one. I mean, that's still good, isn't it? You've got to agree with me. That is still good. Are we talking about that being if we're rating that tunnel entrance out of 5 stars, that would be a good strong 4, maybe a low 4, but still a 4-star entry. The difference between a 4-star and a 5-star, and so that's that for me. I mean, I would never mark down the map on that alone. But there is a highway entrance off more or less in front of us now, but across the river, that is just a little bit, I know, not perfectly smooth, and I feel probably it would be in real life. The rail, yeah, we don't know what to say about the rail really. It's a good slick layout. We've got some sidings here and there. We've got this everybody loves a big old rail bridge, low to the water rail bridge. Is this going to be the map which loses this, the aspect that loses this map a whole bunch of stars with a careering shipping route? Not long to wait and find out, because we're checking all of that stuff out immediately after the intermission. And we do have an intermission today on the map with hills. What do you think we should do?
Do you have trouble building on steep hills? Do your buildings continually glitch into or out of the ground? Then you need the Beginner's Guide to Building on Steep Hills by BonBonB. Click the information button now.
And so back to Port Cambria by Captain Alex and that shipping route. Here we go. I'm sure you've all got money on the table, making predictions here. Little shipping triangle there. Like to be a little bit larger than that, but it'll do fine. And then we're going to go underneath the big old bay bridge there and heading towards that troublesome, worrying, troublesome. Oh, we stop short. It kind of merges with the air route. So maybe what happens is the ships get to that point, and then we get sort of like the was it which Thunderbird was it that was the flying thing that could pick things up, really heavy things up? Yeah, maybe Thunderbird, say 3, comes in, picks up the ship, carries it all the way along this air route to the edge of the map. I'm guessing not, but yeah, it could happen. Okay, water flow. We've got good strong water flow coming down into the lake from this direction. The question is, do we have water motion in the ocean down by the start square? Well, it's easy to find the start square because we've got all this pre-built networking down here already. And there is water motion, but it's being pushed in from the edge of map in the other direction. So it's not flowing out through the lake system, but we've got plenty of room out here for the pollution to disperse, and I don't think it's going to be any sort of problem at all. Okay, overall, the map. You're going to be building in this area around here. You've got plenty of flat and flat-ish buildable space there. Really interesting shapes also. As you go away from the centre of the 25 tiles, as already discussed, we've got these areas which are slightly under-detailed. If you really want to build around here, you can, but you'll have to be adding your own extra trees. Then if we head over the other side of the map, we've got very similar things going on over here. Slightly under-detailed areas down here. But again, it's up to you. If you really want to be over here, out of the 25 tiles, then you know in advance. And that's the important thing. If you know this in advance, you're safe. You're good to go. Right, let's have a look at... I'm liking the mountains. I'm liking the shapes of the mountains. Loving this national road here. This national road's really interesting. It takes an interesting route around the mountain. But we'll be looking at the end of that in a moment. The coastlines, again, Captain Alex does know how to make things look pretty. And this looks very pretty indeed. The rock work and the cove work along the coastline is just top class. I mean, it's top class. We've got the Essential Lighthouse. There's another couple of dotted around. We won't be looking for all of them. And this area here, which we will come back to, I really like that area too, despite it being a talking point, which we will have to discuss in a moment. Now, let's start with some of the minor issues. Let's start off with a really minor one. The height of this bridge going across here is not quite, on the left-hand side here, not quite high enough for like the hot dog van there. If it was taking that left-hand lane, it would have just clipped the top of the crossover. Bigger problem at this end of the bridge, though. I don't know if you can make out. See if I can get my camera in here. Hang on. Up. There you go. We've got a major pillar problem. A major pillar problem right there. Again, it doesn't affect the game, but if you're looking for perfection, that would count as a detailing issue. Also got a little bit of glitching on the entrance to the tunnel here. Now, I know from experience that sometimes it will show in one map and not in another person's map. For me, I actually have problems with that on my map Date, where I had spent some time fixing something like that. Rivers, little rivers are fine. Don't mind so much in this sort of river here where you might have a tree just in the water a little bit, because that would actually happen. It's a very pretty area up here. Some really nice rock work on these rivers, especially coming up a little bit further here. There's a nice little waterfall. Look how aesthetically pretty this waterfall is. But wait for this. We go up a few more yards. Spawn point is immediately behind it. I think if you're going to go for an aesthetic, beautiful area like that, you've got to have a hidden spawn point, or have it extending a little bit up further. For me, that's just a slight loss, just a slight miss. Let me just switch the speed of the speed slider up there. I was having slight problems with the camera. Right, okay, let's have another talking point. The end of that national road I was talking about comes out over here. Now, this is a really sharp turning, and any traffic coming towards us that wants to turn right, which it doesn't there, but if it did, it would be making a really harsh turn, so we need to have a little bit of a connector road there, just to smooth things out a little bit. Next talking point. Okay, back to the start square area. I'm sure a few of you have seen this already on the first fly through, but we do have some pillars on the highway right there, and right on the slip lane there, which is a 1 lane going up to 3. That's fine. And then yeah, this is a little bit glitchy right there as well with the off ramp there. Now back to this talking point here. I actually don't have a problem with this because I think aesthetically it works. But those trees are growing out of bare rock, and they would require a decent amount of root structure. I think if you're consistent with this sort of thing on a map, you can get away with it. And I think for me, that works. Oh, also, look at the sand detailing around the outside. It's beautiful. For me, that works. But I can see if somebody else wanted to mark that one down, I can see absolutely every reason to mark that down. I'm not going to because I'm literally okay with it. Speaking of okay, look at this. What could possibly spoil a view like this? What could possibly spoil a view like this? Trees with their trunks on is what could spoil a view like that. It's absolutely out of nowhere. Just 3 stray trees out in the bay. Okay, we've got a little bit of pixelization here and there. This one I'm going to point out because this is roughly in the middle of the buildable area. So yeah, if you're going to be building on this area, you're probably going to get to there. A little bit of digitization from the original heights map. We've got a little bit more over this side. I'm less worried about this because, again, this is outside of the 25, facing away from the map build, where we've got a bit of detailing anyway. Fewer detailings. Another drowned tree over here, wearing its trunks. I don't know how we managed to get that far out to sea, or to bay. And then we have over here, really liking this. There's good stuff, and there is good stuff. Aesthetically, very pleasing indeed. Nice rock work there. It works really well with the theme, good choice of that. Also, the trees growing out of the cliff face, when you get them packed together like that, it looks like the roots are interacting with each other, and it enables them to get enough of a grip on the bare cliff face. So actually, while I do quite often mark down trees for hanging onto a cliff face, it can work. And I think on this map, it mostly does. There are 1 or 2 spots, I'm not going to show you everything. There are 1 or 2 spots that I'm not so keen on, but on the whole, I think we're on a winner. And speaking on a winner, I used to be really good at tabletop sport. I used to be a winner. Less so now. But one person who is a winner is SvenBerlin with their animated assets. I believe this is from models that were originally uploaded by Ami Polizei. This is the table tennis animated with props. Props to you, Sven. Props to you. Now, I have actually got the game speed on pretty slow. We'll speed this up in a few moments' time so you can see them running at a realistic kind of speed. But in the meanwhile, factoids. Because factoids, you knew we were going to get there. The infamous Roman Emperor Nero was an orphan. Oh. The sun will come out tomorrow. What is that in Latin anyway? Let's speed this up. Hang on. Speed it up. Come on. There is a dial here. Hang on. I've got it. There you go. There's a dial. Right. And off they go. Now, they will play for hours. They'll play all night. 2 sorts of tables. A graffiti table on this end, regular table on the other end, and a little bit of colour variations as well. Anyway, there you go. Table tennis animated with props by SvenBerlin, today's quirky asset of the day. And so back to Port Cambria by Captain Alex. And I turn to you, dear viewer. And I say, what do you think of today's map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Click the I button now in the top right hand corner of your screen, or the link in the description. It'll take you to the voting page where you can vote for free. But what do I think of today's map? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Aesthetically, this was getting 5 stars through and through, until the digitized part inside the 25 tiles, which you can just see on the screen there. If that was outside of the 25 tiles, which we've seen on the outside of some of those mountains, facing away from the buildable area, which we're not supposed to see by the design of the map, well, I would have quite happily have gone 5 stars. But it's inside, it's very visible, I can't give 5. It's a strong 4-star map. A high 4-star map. Detailing. This would be a 4-star map, very strong 4-star map, no questions asked. Very high 4-star map possibly, but so many high profile detailing issues, I've got to drop it all the way down to a low 3. Gameplay potential. Very strong playable map, and it'd be pushing towards the 5th star, I feel, if there weren't so many little things to fix as we were going along. High profile things that you definitely want to fix, so I'm going to go for 4 stars down the middle. It still feels like a strong map to me. So strong, in fact, that a BonBonB seal of approval's in order, even though there are all of those quite strong issues. It's a map that I think a lot of people will want to play, despite just those little things that I pointed out. Again, nothing that's too difficult to fix either, so if you're armed with the Move It tool, get in there and have some fun. Right, if you're still here, you're part of the 20 and out elite. Hit the comments with the words of the day, score yourself some population points, and I'll be back tomorrow with the chart show and a very special game-breaking, one-of-a-kind tutorial. Join me for that one. You will not be disappointed. See you then. Thanks for watching.